Hello, my name is Fenna. Welcome to the Self-Compassion channel. I am a certified coach and counselor, and I work with people in a limerence episode and also with their partner. So if you want my help in one-on-one coaching, please send me an email. My email address is in the description below. Now, my big loving, sweet limerent, you should stay away from videos with titles as "How to Get My Ex Back" or videos that tell you that they have the solution to get an avoidant to love you, or videos on tarot cards. It's a rabbit hole, and in this video I'm going to explain you with 3 reasons why these videos are dangerous if you are a potential limerent. I sometimes talk about when you are in a limerent episode, you should stay far away from social media or videos on how to get someone. For people who are in a limerent episode, and for people who don't know what limerence is a state of being where you experience an intense longing and desire for someone with intrusive thoughts and a hard time letting go. So I'm talking about videos with titles as "How to Get an Avoidant to Want to Be With You," or "How to Get Your Ex Back," or "Do This to Make Them Obsessed," or "How to Make Your Specific Person Love You," etc. You know what I'm talking about. There are so many videos with titles like this. And maybe the advice is well intended and sometimes even accurate. I'm sure that most of these people know what they're talking about. But for people in a limerent episode, these videos are dangerous. They're not harmless, and you don't watch them to learn a little bit of psychology, but this is a rabbit hole. And in this video I'm going to explain you with 3 reasons why you should stay far, far away from these kind of videos. Reason number 1. It gives us a feeling of control/hope, a false feeling of control/hope. And let hope be the number 1 ingredient of a limerent episode. Limerence feeds off the combination of uncertainty and hope. So in the short term, they might be very soothing, and you think it's soothing because you think that there can be something done. You can still get this person and you can do something to control the wanted outcome. But this also stills you in hope/limerence. So you create your own trap to stay in the limerence for a longer period. As long as you watch these videos, you cannot heal from your limerence, because the videos play with your hormones as a substitute for the other person. So reason number 1 is because it gives you a false sense of control instead of taking your loss. Number 2, it prevents you from accepting your loss. The fastest way to get out of a limerent episode is to accept your loss, grieve, and slowly move on, as in accept the possibility that there might be a really great life ahead of you without this person. And people who never experience limerence would say, duh. But for limerence, this is a slow, fragile, slow detaching process. So not accepting your loss, it's a bias, and we call it loss aversion. When you invested so much in something, you rather try to fix it, invest some more to fix it, than to admit that you made a mistake. You made a mistake. Reason number 3, it will confuse the hell out of you. So here you are. You have your adult mind, and your adult mind knows that it's better to move on, that this is not good for you, that this person is not your person, that your needs are not being met. And there is the limerence saying, no, 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 there is still hope. Keep on struggling, keep on bargaining. And now you decide to take advice from an expert who basically is on the limerence side. And this will give you an extra confusion on top of all the confusion that already is there. What do I have to follow? What path do I have to follow? Because I know this is not good, but I also have this expert who says that it's really good and I should really try to get my ex back. It's confusing. I have another reason, by the way. It's very short-term thinking. And we limerence should stay away from the short-term instant gratification and the short-term thinking. Okay, so you read your tarot cards in order to get this sense of control, or you watch this, binge watch this, how to get your ex back. And then what? Then they come back or they text you. Then what? I mean, they're still going to be the same person. I assume the circumstances are still the same, and you probably didn't work that much on improving new skills because you were too busy watching how to get your ex back videos. What has changed? Seriously, what proof do you have that this time this will develop in a happy, healthy, secure relationship when so far it hasn't? And that's the whole reason why you are in a limerent episode in the first place. It's a bit naive to think, and believe me, I've been there. It's a bit naive to think, okay, if I get this person to just text me, that would make my day, and yeah, then we can celebrate. And no, let's not think about the long term. Don't spoil this for me. Let me just have a text and we will deal with the consequences after the next step or whatever, you know. No. Please stop trying, stop struggling in the quicksand. They know where to find you. Stop this hope. And I kind of hope that they don't know where to find you, because the limerence is an indication that this was an unsafe relating. Now, I have a letter that I want to share with permission, of course, that I want to share from one of my subscribers, and she talks about the tarot cards and the binge watching. And I'm going to read this to you, and I'm simultaneously going to give my intake on that. Okay, here we go. Dear Fenna, I first found your channel in the midst of watching one tarot card video after the other. The title and thumbnail of the video on the sidebar intrigued me. I thought, I should probably watch this. I think this applies to me. And I'm so glad I did, because it started me on the healing path out of my limerence. Good for you, girl. Luckily, I am for the most part over my limerence now. When I look back in hindsight, the red flags were so clear. However, in the moment I was blinded by grief and hormones. Last year in March, I received upsetting news that my father had died. He hadn't contacted me since I was 3, and suddenly I received this upsetting phone call. I was the only family member he had left, and I had to take all the funeral arrangements. This sent me into a mental health crisis. Added to that, I was still grieving the loss of my mother from 1 year before. It is so true when you say that grief can play a large part in developing limerence. It does. I found a traditional counselor. However, I also found a non-traditional healing practitioner to have sessions with. I was consumed by grief and overwhelmed by feelings. I was willing to try anything. My first Zoom session with the healing practitioner was a huge red flag, and I wish I could have hit it. Yeah, don't we all wish that with the first huge red flag we would have run for the hills? But okay, we're human, we didn't. It was his lack of professionalism that was the catalyst of my limerence. Yeah, fake boundaries. There was one moment where he told me to close my eyes and describe my bodily sensations. I began to laugh for some reason, probably out of nervousness. To my surprise, he laughed with me. I can identify this moment as the beginning of my limerence. Yep, we call that the glimmer. I was so deep in grief and isolation that I had forgotten what it was like to laugh with somebody. A surge of euphoria swept through my body. Yep. Later on in the sessions, in an attempt to ease my nerves, he switched to asking me some questions about my interests and my hobbies. I said something humorous and he laughed again. It was strangely satisfying, making someone laugh. It made me convinced that we had the same sense of humor and that he understood me. Oh yeah, we formed this bond too fast. After getting off the Zoom call, I felt like taking some sort of drug. I was buzzing. In hindsight, it was a major sign not to have any further sessions with him, although at the time I thought this was the evidence that the sessions were working. Yeah, of course you did. I mean, who is going to say, oh, I feel so good after talking to this person, I'm gonna quit talking to this person? That, of course, especially when we don't know what limerence is and we don't know about the glimmer, that's not how it works, of course. So I hope you don't beat yourself up over this. So the buzzing feeling is, of course, we call that the glimmer. When you feel the glimmer, when you feel this first fuzzy feeling and you're like, oh, this person could be really special, please, if you're a potential limerent, ask yourself, is this healthy to pursue? Are there obstacles? Is this morally correct? Are there mismatches? Is this logistically okay before you pursue the contact? And when there are too many mismatches, let's say more than one or even with one, you might consider not to continue the contact. But anyway, I continue. I found myself itching to book another session. So I booked another session and another and another. And it became harder to wait in between. Yeah. Beside the fact that limerence is really expensive, just like any other drug use, we don't care anymore if things cost money. Money is irrelevant at one point. You see here that it starts with the hormone flush, the dopamine, all the hormones, and then you see it wear off and she's getting more anxious in between, and then we're gonna get the intermittent reward response. Increasingly, the sessions became more informal. It gave me validation and also hope that this could possibly that he could have further feelings for me. Oh, classic example. Limerence starts and feeds off the combination of obstacles and hope. The obstacles, obviously, here there's a client-therapist relation, and hope is, of course, that things can change one day. The sessions gave me an incredible high, which lasted for about a day or so. In between time, I was miserable. Yeah, you see the hormones spiking, increasing and lowering. I was longing for the sessions, and I found myself fantasizing about highly unrealistic situations with him. Yeah, that's because you had limited access to him. He became scarce, and therefore there was an intermittent reward, and that also always plays such a crucial role in limerence. The intermittent reward creates limerence. So you have all the ingredients here. All the ingredients, the grief, the obstacles, and the limited access and the hope. This went on from March until August of last year. I decided that I had to tell him about my feelings that I had developed. I was so terrified of saying it out loud that I would drop little hints, but he didn't seem to catch on. That is the problem. He was not a licensed counselor. so not trained to be looking out for this. Yeah, well, as a counselor, you should know about projection and transferred feelings, absolutely. Finally, I said what I had to say to him in an email, and I told him that I would no longer be having sessions with him. He said that he understood and that it must be difficult to deal with. Okay, that's nice. However, the problem is that he said that while he didn't have romantic attraction toward me, he felt some platonic attraction. Oh my God, I can't believe this! Platonic attraction? What does that even mean? Oh my God, this feels, besides the fact that this is super unprofessional and fake, this fuels so much hope, of course. Because the limerence only hears one word: attraction. That's all the limerence needs to spike up for the next few years to keep in hope, because he used the word attraction. Oh God, oh, I feel so sorry for you. How I wish that he just shut everything down and remained professional. So while I no longer had sessions with him, there was still the lingering hope, here we go, in my mind, that just perhaps his feelings could change. Oh, I hear you, girl. Yeah. I started on a viewing marathon of tarot videos, thinking they could answer the ever-present question, does he like me? My thoughts were consumed by this. I couldn't focus on anything else. Yeah, we use tarot cards like I explained in my video. Some people use tarot cards, you know, in order to gain a sense of control in a confusing situation. I mean, the words, I have platonic attraction for you, are super confusing. Added to this, I was feeling especially isolated during the period of no sessions with him. My mental health steadily declined and my sleep pattern was highly irregular. I began to feel detached from reality. Yeah, of course you did, because you were in withdrawal, and when you are in withdrawal, you're in a constant panic state. One day I found his social media website. Actually, he already sent me a friend request on Facebook, another problematic thing to mention. But this was a different platform. Some twisted thoughts across my mind to create a fake profile and send him harmless, joking message. Here we see the addiction, you know, whispering weird plans in our head. So I did. It was probably a way for me to still interact with him, not using my real identity. To my surprise, he responded a couple of days later. I could feel the hit of dopamine. Woo! This prompted me to send another message. Before I knew, we were exchanging messages back and forth on the next weeks. Oh girl, you were in so deep. I bet you would never do something when you were not in a limerent episode. This is addictive behavior. This is really weird, immoral behavior. The practitioner said he no longer wanted contact with me. In the moment it hurt, but looking back, I'm grateful that he no longer wanted to speak to me. My limerence would have continued if there was still a single thread of hope. Yeah. That's actually true, and although maybe this was not the most elegant way, it's still super brave that you fessed this up and that you somehow also burned the bridge, because sometimes having a point, creating a point of no return is all that we need. We need a moment that we are sure that we will never have to deal with this person again, because that takes out the hope. And without hope, there is no limerence, and you can start to get your life back. It was a miserable ending at first. Ultimately, what was a miserable ending at first ultimately put me out of my misery. That's so true. Even though you were in panic state at the moment, not having contact with this person anymore who is your limerent object is the most healthy thing you can do. Thank you, Fenna, for making your advice and insight available to those who are suffering. You played a major part in helping me heal and regain my normalcy. Thank you. I am so happy that you feel like your old self again, that you can reflect on this like, wow, what the fuck did happen here? And I'm really happy that you tell me that you regained your normalcy. I'm super happy for you, and thank you. Thank you for sharing this email. It's so important to let other limerents know that they are not the only one, because you are not. There are so many limerents out there who don't have a clue that they're in a limerent episode, and they don't know what's up and down. If you want to share your story, please send me an email. Of course it is anonymous, that goes without saying, but it's super important, of course. Please send me an email if you want to share your story, or if you have questions, I can answer them also on the spot. And for now, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.